Greetings, greetings, family. Sister Shanice here, coming to you live and direct via YouTube. Greetings, greetings. Certainly, I hope that you've been having an absolutely fantastic, blacktastic day. Got a show lined up for you. Got two shows today, actually. First is a preliminary show, and then we are going on to the main show, which is going to be with our brother Leader Bandaka. Also, not Leader Bandaka, you must be calling my name. It's going to be with our brother Leo Muhammad, Andrew Morris, and also our sister Win. And we're going to be paying tribute to our beautiful Queen, Sasa Johnson, and you're going to hear a lot about that in a little while. I've gone live now. I'm expecting Muta Baruka to be joining me, but, I've got to let you know we've been having some challenges behind the scenes to locate him. He's aware, he's got all the details, he's got the login information, so fingers crossed he will be logging in and my initial worries are unfounded. So it's the season of African liberation, and it's all about us, family, doing what we can to reflect on the works that we've got to do to liberate us as a people. Our ancestors have been doing a phenomenal job, have done a phenomenal job during their time, did they not, to liberate us as a people. And as a result of their great, great works, we have, the little freedoms that we have today, but we've still got a long, long way to go. Africa is still not truly liberated. Africa is still a colonized continent. There's still a huge amount of work to be done and a long, long way to go towards the total liberation of Mama Africa. And that's the work that we all, every single one of us, need to be working towards. And if we're not doing all that we can during the spare time that we have towards the liberation of Mama Africa, then we really need to look in the mirror and question ourselves, because there is a phenomenal amount of work to do. So family, as you come through, please give me a big up in the chat. Let me know that you're in the house. Certainly pleased and delighted that you're going to be joining me this evening. I will be, raising up some of our late greats, because it's so important, that we ensure that the names of our late greats never, ever dies. And, it's therefore our responsibility as a family, as a people, to be rising them up, during these times. And so to each and every one of you that is part of a liberation movement, part of an organization, part of a political group, part of a community organization, to each and every one of you that's doing something to ensure that, we can improve our situation as a family, that we can elevate our race, to ensure that, economically we're doing so much better in our businesses, because we're supporting each other's businesses and we're coming together and pooling our resources and our energies together to try and build big businesses within our community. To all of you that are involved in any economic initiative, or at least trying, we celebrate you, we elevate you, and we rise you up. Also, to those of you who are making progressive moves, at a community level, we celebrate you. To those who are making advances at a political level, we celebrate you. And to those of you, who are doing the works in the education sector, in the medical arena, whatever sector you're working in, if you're working towards the upliftment of us as a people, which is so needed during these times, we celebrate you, and we give you enough respect for that. We have to, as a people, be mindful of the fact that, for thousands of years, we as a people have been wiped off the face of the earth. Originally as Africans, as we were learning from our great brother, Dr. Winters, last Wednesday, we as Africans actually occupied the whole of Europe. We were the first people of England, the first people of Ireland, of Scotland, of the entire British Isles, the first people in the world. Everywhere you went, the first people were Africans. But today, the vast majority of those original people in many parts of the world have been wiped off the face of the earth. Take a look at, the people now who occupy most of America, who occupy Canada, who occupy Australia, who occupy New Zealand, who occupy Europe. Where have the original people, the original Africans gone? As we know, as a result of genocide, in the main, and diseases and sicknesses, and, these people, the original Africans, have been wiped off the face of the planet. And even today, we're still, under threat. And had it not been for our great revolutionary freedom fighters in the late, from the turn of the 20th century, 19th and 20th century, who knows where we would have been today? And so we have to, celebrate them and remember them during African Liberation Day. And so, to those of you that have been part of the African Liberation movement, part of the events, the celebratory events that have been happening, wow. Let us know, what have the events been like in your area? Have you been to any African Liberation Day events? If so, drop a message in the chat. Let us know, what the events were that you attended and how were they? How were those events? So, it's important that we keep these events going and that we recognize the importance for us as a people to be celebrating, our ancestors. And so there is a Parents and Ancestors Day event as well that's going to be happening in the South London area on Bellington Road. That's going to be happening on the 3rd, on Friday. It's going to be happening on Friday, the 3rd of May. Okay, so if you're in the South London region, Friday, the 3rd of May, find your way down to Bellington Road in Peckham. Okay, in Peckham, and you can join a wonderful celebratory event where we're going to be celebrating our parents and our ancestors. And so we want to rise up the entire Galaxy and Theory family that is involved in that event. Okay, as I said, now I'm supposed to be joined this evening by our brother, Elder Muta Baruka. But as I said, we haven't been able to locate him today. And so his promoter and myself are really worried about his whereabouts and, whether or not he's actually going to be logging on and addressing us this evening. Fingers crossed that he will definitely chime in at some point this evening. And then immediately following this segment of the show, at 11, we have another show lined up for you, and that show is going to be remembering the works of our beautiful Sasha. And as many of you probably already know, young Sasha, who was a revolutionary activist in the UK, was shot in the head. And there are many of us who question that particular incident. It's been portrayed as an incident that happened accidentally. But, when you consider the works that she was doing, and when you consider, the sort of society that we're living in, and also, what tends to happen to our liberation freedom fighters, it really makes us question whether or not the incident that our dear sister suffered was an accident or not. So let me see who we've got in the house. So we've got 32 of you watching now. Thank you so much. Only 8 likes so far. Please do give us a thumbs up. It's going to get better. I promise it's going to get better. To those of you in the house, thank you so much for joining us already. Let us know where you are watching us from. We've got Richmond in the house saying peace family. We've got Cherry B in the house letting us know that she did it. She said Medea. Wonderful, wonderful. Great to have you in the house. We've got the De Buffalo, Soul Tress in the house, Geraldine in the house. Rise up, rise up. And the Sheriffess is watching us from the UKKK. Welcome, welcome indeed. As I said, I'm waiting for Muta Baruka to join us. He hasn't come in the studios yet. And so in the meantime, I'm going to be talking about, I think, some of the issues that have, I'm particularly concerned about during these times. And I think you probably will also be quite concerned about as well. The first one I'm going to mention is the case of young Raheem Bailey. Let me screen share so that you can see my screen and this particular incident that I want to draw to your attention. So here's a picture of young Raheem Bailey, and there is a campaign, as you can see here, on his behalf. Young Raheem Bailey actually lost a finger. He had to have a finger amputated because, some young racist bullies who had been bullying him before in school, whom the school knew about, in the school that he went to in Wales, in his effort to flee from the racist bullying that he was under. His finger got trapped and ended up having to be amputated. There's young Raheem there, only 11 years old. Raheem, we're with you. As you can see, there is a petition now. Over 85,000 people have already signed the petition. If you haven't, please do. And, we want to give thanks to Vienna Bess for setting up this petition. And as she said, she's created it because she wants to help to seek justice for Raheem. Rise yourself up, Vienna, for that. And what she says is that, and I agree with her, all children are supposed to be protected. Or there should be no child that should go to school and have to face racist bullying or any kind of bullying at all in school. A school is a space where the children are supposed to feel safe. And it's just crazy right now when you even think about what happened, in that school in America quite recently. But young Raheem, instead of going to school and feeling safe, he was a victim of a bully and of bullies rather, and, he lost a limb in the incident. And so they're asking for us to sign a petition. So if you haven't already done so, please go to change.org and search for the petition, Justice for Raheem Bailey, and sign that petition so that we can help and get him some justice. And what Vienna mentions here is the tweet by Chantel Bailey. That's the mother of Raheem Bailey. She stated on Instagram that her 11-year-old son has faced racial and physical abuse, and as well as more generic bullying about his height, among other things, since he started the school at Abertillery in Wales. And she said that although he had mentioned a few incidents, not just one, a few incidents of people being mean to him, she said that she didn't realize the extent of what he was actually going through until the incident. Oh, wow. How long had poor Raheem been suffering there? And then she said that, what happened on Monday, she got a call from Raheem. He was in tears. She was at work at the time. And he said that he's being bullied and that the teacher threatened him with detention, despite him being the one that was getting picked on. And then it was Tuesday during break time that Raheem was attacked and beaten by a group of children while at school. He was pushed to the ground and repeatedly kicked. As a consequence, he tried to make a desperate escape to leave the school ground to escape the situation that he was in. And the next thing she knew was she got a phone call from the school informing her of the incident. And she was actually told that an ambulance would be arriving in 2 hours. Why not straight away? In 2 hours. But advised her not to drive Raheem to the A&E herself. I don't quite understand that. What do you think of this? Anyway, she said that she spent the next 5 hours waiting for an ambulance to try. You know, this is meant to be, you know, Wales, part of the so-called Great Britain. Yeah, a school calls an ambulance because, you know, there's been an incident at the school, a child has been injured, and the ambulance says that it won't be able to arrive for 2 hours. But in fact, they ended up waiting 5 hours for an ambulance to transfer them to the location where he could undergo surgery in Swansea, which was 50 miles away. We're talking about United Kingdom here. We're talking about the so-called Great Britain. We're not talking about a third world country, but you would think it's a third world country, wouldn't you? From this particular incident, you know, 5 hours they had to wait for an ambulance and then had to be driven 50 miles away from his home and the school. And she was saying that as time rolled on, it became more apparent that the possibility of her son was going to lose his finger was a real one. Oh my gosh. And then what happened? The doctors confirmed that that was likely to be the situation. Wow, wow, wow. As she had to sit there with him while he was in agony. You know, after a 6-hour surgery to try and save his limb, you know, unfortunately, it was unsuccessful and the finger had to be amputated. Wow. And then from the day of the incident until now, the arbitrary learning community have not even bothered reaching out to her to check his well-being. I mean, how awful is that? What do you think about this, family who in the chat? You know, when I read this incident, I was really appalled. And not only, you know, and clearly she's calling for action, and I agree, action is needed. The school does need to be investigated. Also, you know, the ambulance service needs to be investigated as well. You know, what were the messages? Were they not told that it was urgent? Normally people only call an ambulance when it's an emergency. The mother could have driven the child, you know, to the hospital within a shorter space of time. And had she done so, you know, she may have, you know, he may have been able to save that limb, you know. And of course, there needs to be a full review of the school's safeguarding policies towards its children as well. Because, you know, if this child had been getting bullied for some time, why had there not been any intervention? Why had this not been looked into? Why did it need to get to a situation where the poor child has ended up losing his finger, you know, as a result of this particular incident? You know, it's absolutely shocking and absolutely appalling. And so obviously, you know, we all feel it for our young Raheem, you know, who is probably still in agony right now with, you know, about this particular incident. So, you know, that story really, really did, you know, get to me when I read that. And of course, I signed the petition and circulated it. And I hope, you know, others have signed the petition as well. But family in the chat, what are your thoughts, you know, about this one? Wow. Let me go over to the chat and see who we've got in the house and hear what our people are actually saying. So, yeah, rise up, Richmond, Cherry B, rise up, Geraldine, rise up, 3rd of June, question mark. What's the question mark, Geraldine, about the 3rd of June? Is that to do with Friday's Parents and Ancestors Day event? Yeah, that is a physical event that's going to be held on Bellington Road, South London. And it's a day when we're going to be celebrating our parents and ancestors, because it's African liberation, the season where we're celebrating our parents and our ancestors. And we have a regular Parents and Ancestors Day on the 6th of the 6th. And sometimes we have an event as well And in South London, in Peckham, Bellington Road, there's going to be an event. So if you're in the area, yes, please do join in. Want to rise up McKennan, who's here in the Gambia. Rise up, brother McKennan. Good to have you in the house. The Sheriff's Hefts is saying, with the Pope, the Anglican Church and other missionary groups making their way to Africa, claiming to be praying for peace, we don't have much to celebrate. Still fighting for liberation. Yes, we are still fighting for liberation, family, and the fight has to continue until we get total liberation. We've got partial liberation, but we don't have total independence. We will have, what will our total independence look like? Well, as a continent, as an African continent, we will be totally independent when we have control of our education system, total control of our political institutions and organizations, total controls of our economy, our trade partners, when we're the ones that are calling the shots in terms of the deals, when we're the ones that are managing all of the means of production, when we're the ones who are managing all of our resources, when we're the ones who are creating the jobs and opportunities for our people, when we're the ones who have total control and say over our medical institutions and our health, that's when we will, as a people, be totally liberated and totally independent as far as I'm concerned. Feel free, to add to my list. Family, those of you in the chat. Let's go back over. Haru, rise up, saying, hi, family, watching for the UKKK. Big up, Haru. Yes, you did sign the petition. Thank you so much for that. Astronza is saying, blessed love, I sign it. Rise up, thank you so much and for signing that. And nothing great about Britain, Atronza is telling us. Jackie Blake, rise up, saying, greetings, family. So much looking forward to another great show. Thank you so much. Watching from the UKKK. The Sheriff Taps is saying, where is the adultification treatment of these racist children? Why aren't they in some sort of youth custody or jail? Good question, the Sheriff's Hefts, because I'm sure, if the situation was reversed, I am sure that had it been that it was a white child that had lost a finger as a result of bullying by Black children, those of us in the UK who know only too well, the heavy-handed treatment that we as a Black community experience at the hands of these institutions here, we know only too well, that we would have been hearing in the press, about what was going to be done and the harsh treatment that was going to be meted out to those young Black children who they would have been calling all sorts of names in their media. So we want to know as well, what harsh treatment is going to be meted out against these bullies? Or are we going to be told, as we were in the next case that I'm going to go on to while I wait for Muta Baruka to join us, if he's going to join us at all. Let's hope that he does. Or are they going to turn around and say that, these children are of good character, so we can't take action against them. But when it comes to our children, there's no hesitation about taking action against them. And the same, treatment ought to be meted out to those who abuse our children. And so, I'm using this platform, and I think we should all use our own platforms and our own voices to condemn, the actions or the inaction of that school, the inaction so far of the judiciary system, the police, and all the other authorities that need to be involved to ensure that this young child gets justice. And again, we want to rise up our sis Viviana for bringing that petition out as well. And to all those who have already signed it and will be signing it, we rise you up, we rise you up. De Buffalo, Sodares says, this group, real havoc everywhere they are located, no attempt to be good to all people. It's the sad reality of the world that we're living in. Everywhere they are, it's just hell for us as a people. Shaka is saying, just sign the petition. Rise up, Shaka. Thank you so much for that. And, incidents like that make me angry too, to the max. And, Heru is saying, was so upset when I read this disturbing story, you know, and we've got to defend our young people as best we can. And even if it's just by signing a petition, at least, you know, we're signing a petition and joining the call for action, and by sharing it as well, we're, you know, doing our best to ensure that, you know, as many people as possible do get to hear about this particular petition and this particular incident, because none of our children should be in a situation where they're suffering in silence. No, we need to let them know, as we did with Child Q, you know, that the community is behind them, and we totally condemn, you know, the abusive treatment at the hands of those white bullies. So young Raheem, we wish you a speedy recovery. You know, it's so tragic to hear what happened to you, you know, but as a community, we are behind you. As a community, you know, we are here supporting you. And, you know, as you're hearing even today, more people are signing the petition. It's a very upsetting, yes, Raheem, very upsetting and disturbing story indeed. So that one, you know, really did annoy me when I read about that. There was another case as well that really concerned me. And while I'm waiting for Muta Baruka, in the hope that he still joins us, but, you know, just to let you know that, you know, we will have Andrew Mohammed and others joining us at 11. And so, you know, we'll log off and log back in again for that one. And we'll also, we'll have Anthony Morris, and we'll also have Sister Wynne joining us at 11. So keep it locked, family. The good thing is you haven't had to come out to this event. You're watching from the comfort of your home. So you can just cup up foot in bed if you like, and have your laptop, you know, somewhere positioned where you can tune in. So I just want to highlight another case, actually, while I'm here, that I looked at that also made me quite concerned, left me very concerned as well. And it's the case of young Christopher Kapessa. In this particular incident, a group of racists, same area, Wales again, you know, another incident in Wales, where young Christopher Kapessa was actually pushed by a bunch of racists to his death. Wow, wow, wow. There is a picture of the young man. And it's the family in this particular incident of young Kapisa, who was only 13 at the time, are calling out the South Wales Police for institutional racism, because the South Wales Police have decided that they're not going to go ahead and prosecute the suspect over the death of young Christopher Kapisa, despite the fact that there is more than enough evidence to show that there is a case to bring manslaughter against this particular, these culprits. So this is how the story goes. Our young son, Christopher Kapisa's body was actually found in a river. And this happened back in July last year. And the CPS have decided that there was no public interest to bring a manslaughter case, despite there being sufficient evidence. Family who are watching from the UK will know, even if there is the flimsiest bit of evidence, when it comes to bringing charges against our young children, our young Black children, the police do not hesitate at all. In fact, the police will go the extra mile there have been incidences where they have fabricated evidence, where they find evidence that don't stack up in court, to bring a conviction. In fact, now they don't even have to do that, because they used to get caught so often doing it. Now they don't have to do that to bring a case against our children. They can just say that they were part of a group that were involved in a particular incident by association, because they happen to get a phone call before the incident, or they happen to be with someone who committed a crime, so they have this joint enterprise policy or law that allows them to prosecute a large group of our children when they want to. But here we have a situation where there is sufficient evidence to bring a case of manslaughter against a group of children, and one in particular who was physically pushed the child in the river, knowing that he couldn't swim, and murdered him. And they're saying that it's not in the public interest to lock up a murderer. Really? Anyway, in a letter to the South, in a letter that the BBC Wales saw, it said that there was clear evidence the suspect pushed Christopher into the river, but were not continuing with the prosecution. Now, for those of you who have been following this case, you will know they actually took the family a long time to even get to the place where, it got this far, because the police dragged their feet over investigating this particular issue. It was as if they didn't want to investigate it at all. And then they only interviewed some of the young people that were involved. But there were, it says here, but here it is, the lawyer and others had to complain because they'd only investigated 4 out of the 14 people who were at the scene of Christopher's death. Those are the number of bullies and people who were involved in taunting this child and then pushing him to his death. And here we have a picture of the river that they pushed him into, knowing that he couldn't swim. And, if my memory serves me right as well, he's another child who had been complaining of bullying at the school. It says here that in a letter to the family last Wednesday, the CPS said that there was sufficient evidence to support a charge of unlawful act of manslaughter. It said the suspect is mature and intelligent for his age and had a good school record. Really? So because he had a good school record, it's not in the public interest? It says there was clear evidence that the suspect pushed Christopher in the back with both hands, causing him to fall into the river. So it was a deliberate push into this green, murky, dangerous water. Oh my God. And, that push was an unlawful act, clearly dangerous. Yeah. And, inevitably was going to cause harm. And it added that the evidence suggested that the push, not in an effort to harm someone, but ill-considered. You see when they try and water things down? Wow. And it goes on to say that decisions on cases such as this are difficult, but each must be judged on its own merit. You wouldn't believe a child has been murdered here. You would think, that it was a minor misdemeanor that had happened. It's really, really disgusting. So family around the world, I'm highlighting this because I want you to be aware of the sort of injustices, that our people experience here in the UK. You can have, a loved one actually murdered by other school children, or lose a finger, or be bullied, or be in a situation where the police even come into school and strip search your children and tell them to, spread their rear end, so they can look up there. The things that go on in the schools today is absolutely shocking, and these are not isolated incidences either. These are just the ones that come to the attention of the media, because the families have been so disgusted about, the lack of attention that have been given to their cases and their plight, that they've decided that they're going to make the public aware of it, so that hopefully, that will bring about the sort of justice that they're looking for. So another really, tragic case indeed. And again, of course, our thoughts and our heart and our sympathies go out to the mother, the father, and the family of young Christopher as well. And, in the article, it goes on to say that from the start, the South Wales police, baffled, the parents were saying they were baffled by not being able to answer many of the most basic questions. And that's obvious because they just weren't bothering to look into the incident at all. And the family are demanding action, of course. If your loved one, if something happened to your loved one, would you not want, them to get some justice? Let me go over to the chat and see what some of the comments are that we're getting over here. And Dee Buffalo is saying, wreaks havoc, Heru. That I read that one already, saying how disturbing that other case was. It is, just imagine how the immediate parents, I mean, this instance like this impact the entire community. Touch one, touch all, we all feel it. De Buffalo Soldieress is saying, this is an occupational injury. His livelihood as an adult would definitely depend on his limb. Oh, yes, of course he would. And he should be compensated through lawsuits. That money he is able to make for the next 30 years. Absolutely. Says it's crazy. A child pushed into the river. Yeah, I mean, what children in their right mind? This is the level of evil that is in the mind of some of the children, young, innocent children. I mean, where are they getting, this sort of mindset from? Shaka says that's one reason I don't like the police. And Haru, these people behave like animals with no consciousness at all. Sadly, where is the consciousness? Where's the heart? Where is the supposed, act of equality that's supposed to be happening here? Where is it? Wow. So, those were a couple of incidences that came to my mind. If you want to post in the chat about any particular concerns that you have, let us know. Thanks, Shez. She just says, we are living in the divided kingdom. Yes, you are so right, Shez. The divided kingdom where, there is one treatment for white people, white privilege, some call it, and there's another treatment for us as Africans. She says, yes, we're living in a divided kingdom. So this is no surprise. Why stay in a country that doesn't want us? Why stay in a country that doesn't want us? Now, I have been running a series on my radio shows, actually, which was reminding us, and also last Wednesday here, if you didn't catch the show with our brother, Dr. Clyde Winters, please do, go into my videos and check that one out. He was actually bringing evidence to show that we were the first people of Britain, the first people of Europe. Britain actually belongs to us as Africans. It's been one of their best kept secrets until now. This generation, our generation, the now generation, has found out their biggest secret. They want to turn around and tell us, get out of our country. This is our country. This is the white people talking. This is our country. Get out of our country. Only for us to discover from the research that we've been doing that it's not their country at all. It's our country. It was an African continent. And they're the ones who need to get out of our country. What do you say about that, family? Wow. There was another incident as well that really concerned me, family, that I read about. No, it was a video. That was it. It was a video that I watched. And there's been a couple of them, actually. But this one involved a young man who was trying to escape the war in Ukraine. And as you know, they're supposed to be able to get free passage, not even free passage. They're supposed to be able to get a corridor that they can go down that allows them to flee the country and leave for their own safety. And this young man, he got on a train, and when he was going through Germany, he was actually taken off the train, and he spoke about his experience and what he had to go through on that journey. And I want to find it, family, and actually play it for you, because it's so concerning. So I've got a call coming through there, and can't be taking that just now. So really want to find out what your thoughts are about this particular incident. So let me just scroll back into my WhatsApp messages and find that particular video. And I'm going to play that. And as that takes its little time to open up, in the meantime, what I'd also like to do is to remember some of our parents and our ancestors, because, wow, family, if it wasn't for our ancestors, who knows where we would be right now, and what the circumstances would be that we would be faced with as a people. So let me just rise up some of our late greats. Here we are. Wow. So some of us think that we've got it really bad now, and things are bad, but I'm not saying this is to suggest that we stop fighting and that we get in a place of comfort, because we've got a long, long way to go before, you know, things get the way that it ought to be for us as a people. But as we know, up to a few hundred years ago, our people were still enslaved as Africans. They were experiencing lynchings, slave labor, daily violence, you know, torture, unimaginable incidences, rapes and genocides, and all sorts of things was going on those plantations. And these were very, very serious times indeed. But despite how treacherous those circumstances were that we were faced with, and despite the evil and the wickedness that was happening, and the real danger and threat to life should, we decide to stand up, there were many of our ancestors who did stand up. And it's because that they stood up. It's because that they stood up why it is that we have the little freedoms that we have today. So I want to remember the names of some of those ancestors of ours. Why? Because for as long as we continue to remember their names, family, for as long as we continue to call their name and tell their stories to our children, so that our children can tell the stories to their children, for as long as we continue to remember the sacrifices that they made for us as a people, for as long as we do that, they will never die. They will never die. So I want to rise up. For example, Bookman Dottie. And, family, as I call these names, if you don't know the stories behind the names of these individuals, please do a bit of research. Do the research with your children. Get behind the computer, put in the names of these individuals, and do a bit of research and tell their stories to your children. These are stories that they're not going to be told about in the schools. And these are stories that will give them a liberation spirit. These are stories that will awaken them and make them the great that they can become. People like Bookman Dottie, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, Jean Shacks Desalines, Nanny of the Maroons, Queen Ya Ashantewa, Bobby Seale, Huey Newton, Malcolm X, Kwame Nkrumah. Wow. Family. Please make sure that you research the names of those revolutionary freedom fighters. I'm coming with more names as well. These are the people who sacrificed their life for us. Yeah, these are not mythical beings. These are real people who sacrificed their life for us. And let's make sure that their sacrifice wasn't and isn't in vain. Okay, let's make sure that as a community we never forget the great price that they paid. Let's make sure that we tell the stories to our children, and that these stories are used to unshackle the mental enslavement that we will otherwise continue to perpetually experience during our lifetime. Okay, so here we go. Let's scroll down and give you some more names. Marcus Messiah Garvey, Hannibal, Queen Nzinga, Queen Nefertari, Queen Makeda, Queen Nandi, Ya Ashantiwa, Taki, Toussaint Louverture, Cécile Fatiman, Jean Franon, Bissou, Chenot, those names there, Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Cécile Fatiman, Jean-François, Bissou, Chenot, these were leaders in the Haiti revolutionary movement. And it is a phenomenal, phenomenal story of bravery. Please share that story with your children. Shaka Zulu, another one who resisted, who needs to be remembered. Queen Makeda, Queen Mamusa, and the Nyabingi spirit, Empress Zwaditu, Kunta Kinte, Nanny of the Maroons, Sojourner Truth, Nat Turner, Bossa, Nanny Gig, Neander, Kagui, Kim Pavita, Phyllis Wheatley, Steve Biko, Suzanne Belair, Samora Touré, Queen Nyabingi, Amy Jacques Garvey, Samora Rochelle, Thomas Sankara, Sylvanus Olympio, Moelumu, Kambagi, Julius Nereri, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Kenneth Kaunda, Agostino Nito, Yuria Simango, Sekou Touré, Modipa Kita, Maurice Mapello, Joseph Okito, Morris Bishop, Madam C.J. Walker, Queen Mother Moore, Martin Luther King, Huey Newton, Bobby Seale, Malcolm X, Ben Bella, Morris Bishop. Family, we have so many, and my list goes on. Walter Rodney, Amilcar Cabral, Harold Moody, C.L.R. James, Sheikh Anta Diop, John Henry Clark, Cordia Jones, Dr. Ben, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Jean-Bert Chockenham, Henry Sylvester Williams, family, George Padmore, Muhammad Ali, Baba Seymour, Emperor Haile Selassie I, the first, Empress Many, so many, family. We have so many heroes and sheroes to speak of. We don't need Batman. We don't need Superman. We don't need Superwoman. We have the real superheroes and sheroes, family. Please do ensure that you tell your siblings, your children about our great leaders, our great heroes and sheroes. Wow. The time has absolutely flown by. Family, you know, at the top of the hour, we have joining us today, Brother Leo Muhammad, Anthony. The first hour was supposed to be with Mutabaruka, but when I couldn't get hold of him this afternoon and hear back from him, I was getting a bit worried. I was thinking, I don't think he's going to turn up. I thought, nah, you know, it's never happened before. It's not going to happen now. I've never had a guest that hasn't turned up before. Surely, you know, this isn't going to be the first. Well, I have to apologize, family, to all of you, but clearly, Mutabaruka just hasn't shown up. He could have told me he wasn't coming. I would have cancelled, and I would have brought you another great guest to have had in his place. But unfortunately, you know, I didn't get a message, and so I was unable to bring you, put a guest in his place that I could have brought to you today. So you've had me for the last 45 minutes. But the good news is that in 10 minutes' time, okay, we will have, he's not saying he's not coming, Leo Muhammad, and we will be having, so we've got our esteemed brother, Leo Muhammad, we've got our brother, Andrew Morris, we've got our sister, Wynne, and we've got a wonderful show that we're going to be doing, because we're going to be rising up the spirit of our beautiful Sasha Johnson, who was shot in the head. If you don't know the story, get to know, family. What I need you to do is log out of here and then log in again in 10 minutes time. But before I let you go, let me just see if you've, oh, wonderful, you're adding some names to my list. Thank you so much. I can see here Dr. Amos Wilson, absolutely one there to add to the list. Rise up, Kimani. Rise up. Good to have you in your house. Aisha Son, great to have you in the house as well. S.A. Smith, great to have you in your house. He said, how people like this convince themselves that they're better than others is beyond me. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why we really need to get back into our position, our rightful position, because the world will be a better place with us in control. I have no doubt whatsoever that if we were in control of the world would be a better place. Rise up, Gebra. Rise up, Brother Paul Grant as well. Say, greetings, Sister Shanice. It is because of all those ancestors why I will never give up the pursuit of justice. Rise up, Brother Paul Grant, a formidable campaigner in our community. Rise up, my brother. Heru is saying, Queen Nandi, yes, the mother of King Shaka Zulu, absolutely. Bob Marley, King James, absolutely as well. That's it, family. Remember the names of these late greats and call the names and tell the children the stories of these greats as well, so they will know that we have greats as well. They may not see them on the television, but you can bring their stories to life in the minds and the heart and the spirit of our children, by sharing their stories with them. Shez is sending a message to Paul Grant saying, you're the ancestors, they live within us. Yes, hence our fighting spirit for truth and justice. Yes, that is so true. Thanks for that reminder, Shez. We are our ancestors because their DNA lives within us. Absolutely. I am the child of my mother, who's now an ancestor, who was the child of her mother, who was the child of her mother, and her mother, and her mother. Yes, absolutely right. Those ancestors live within us. And Dr. Clyde Winters reminded us that our DNA has memory. And once we learn how to tap into the memory of our DNA, wow, that is going to take us on another level. Galaxy Children Academy, rise up, saying hello, keep it up, Sister Shanice. Yes, those books arrived today, by the way. Another load of books have arrived in the Gambia today. Going to have to arrange to collect it tomorrow. I'll be seeing you sometime next strong at Galaxy Academy School. Family. Thank you, Chair, saying, it was a fantastic show. Oh, this one, or was the one last strong with our great brother, Dr. Clyde Winters. It was an awesome show. That one was, yes, indeed. So thank you. So family, can I ask you to do me a favor? Can you log out now, get yourself a drink, and log back onto the Sister Shanice show in about 10 minutes. I'm going to start fresh, and we are going to be bringing you some new guests and a wonderful show, which is going to celebrate one of our beautiful sisters, who's in hospital in a coma right now, but we want to send her some vibrations that's going to help to awaken her and rise her up. And we're going to celebrate her for the great works that she's been doing. Okay, so please join us in 8 minutes' time here again on the Sister Shanice Show. Thank you so much. Each and every one of you, please make sure that you log back in, okay, at the top of the hour. Thank you so